Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Wednesday, June 27th. I'm Rafi Boyajan, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. The US dollar is somewhat steadier this morning as we're seeing some easing of trade tensions. Stock markets are still under pressure though, particularly in Asia and specifically in China, where we're still seeing big losses for the major Chinese indices. In Europe, we are also headed for a negative open, despite the fact that we saw shares in the US close slightly higher yesterday. The euro has pulled back downwards again after hitting resistance around the 1.1720 level. It's currently trading around 1.1655. Sterling fell sharply yesterday, though it did manage to recover back above the 1.32 level following dovish remarks from an incoming MPC member. The Kiwi is again one of the worst performers this morning ahead of the RBNZ policy meeting. If we look at the safe haven gold, it has just about managed to turn positive, though it's still not seeing much demand from safe haven flows as the prospect of high US interest rates is still weighing on the precious metal. But in other commodities, oil prices are up this morning, extending yesterday's strong gains. We saw a big jump yesterday in oil prices, both in WTI and Brent crude, after President Trump pressured other countries to stop buying Iranian oil, potentially signaling supply shortages down the line. Let's now turn to the main movers. We can see oil once again at the top of the table. Euro pound is up this morning. Kiwi dollar being at the bottom of the table, but dollar yen is also there near the bottom. And taking a closer look at dollar yen, we can see prices are reversing from yesterday's top of around 110.20. That level has been a resistance level in the past as well. Overall, though, it is stuck in a tight range. There does seem to be some support coming from the 20 moving average in the 4-hour chart around 109.75. So the trade tensions have eased a little bit after President Trump said that most likely we're not going to get an outright restriction on Chinese investments into the US. They seem to be looking at an alternative of having a committee to individually review cases of foreign acquisitions into China, into US companies when sensitive technology is concerned. So this is not just against Chinese investment into US, but also from any other country looking into buying sensitive US companies. Let's now turn to sterling, because of the sterling did come under pressure yesterday. It had recovered to just below the 1.33 level before slipping briefly to below the 1.32 handle. So we heard yesterday for the first time from the new Monetary Policy Committee member John Haskell, whose appointment will take effect in September. He said that there may still be more slack in the labor market and was also wary of the downside risks from Brexit. And given that Haskell will be replacing the MPC's one of the most hawkish members, Ian McCafferty, this means that from September we could see a much more dovish MPC overall imbalance, making a rate hike less likely in the future, and we might not see one in August or this year at all. So that could possibly weigh on sterling over the coming weeks if we get confirmation of Haskell's dovish views. And finally, looking at the New Zealand dollar, we do have an RBNZ policy meeting coming up later today at 21 hours GMT. They're expected to hold rates, but the Kiwi is struggling ahead of that decision. It hit a 7-month low of 0.6809 against the US dollar. We did see a drop in business confidence with the ANZ Business Confidence Index dropping to a 7-month low in June. We also have, of course, the risk of sentiment, particularly in Asia, weighing on the risk-sensitive currencies such as the Aussie and the Kiwi, particularly what we're seeing in China with both stocks falling sharply and the yuan also hitting 6-month lows against the US dollar. All of that is weighing on risks assets this morning. And a quick look at today's economic calendar before we go. The main data later on will be US durable goods. We also, of course, have that RBNZ meeting, but we're also going to hear from several central bankers, including BOE's Mark Carney, Fed Governor Randall Quarles, and Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.